you will sometimes hear even CEOs say things like, well, our charity isn't about saving the cuddly puppies or anything like that. So why would anyone donate to us? And the common objection is that some causes are not, quote, sympathetic. Things like prisoners, ex-offenders, sex workers, so-called ugly animals. You've got the puppies on one end, you might have some endangered, strange-looking stick insect thing that some organization is trying to save in the rainforest, and they just think that no one's going to donate because it's not an appealing thing. International aid and refugees, unfortunately, there's a huge political thing around whether we should be helping people in other countries and things like that. And causes that are quite frankly boring, or international research organizations, medical research, stuff that feels so far removed from the individual that they don't even bother telling any stories because, well, A, they get a lot of money from grant funding or whatever, governments, cool, but they're not interested in trying to develop a donor base or a supporter base because they think that their cause is boring. It really all comes down to the story. And there's an example here from the Howard League for Penal Reform. Now, in 2013, the Ministry of Justice, in their infinite wisdom, decided to ban prisoners from being able to receive books from loved ones. And it was some so-called crackdown on perks and privileges, I think they called it. And the Howard League obviously took issue with that. They saw that the prison sentence itself is the punishment. So why stop them from having books inside? In fact, actually, those books were central to their rehabilitation, right? So they launched a campaign against this, and it was called Books for Prisoners. And it garnered a lot of support, from authors and people like that. And there was the hashtag on social media was asking people to share their shelfies, which is obviously a play on the word selfie, which is basically just pictures of their bookshelves. And what that did was eventually one of the prisoners took their case to the High Court, supported by the legal team at the Howard League, and the judge found in her favour, and the prison rules were then changed. And what I love about this is, these campaigns can actually create policy change, you know. But what's really interesting for me is that the focus wasn't on the prisoners or even their well-being, it was on the books. And the appeal they were making was to readers and educators and people that cared about self-education and knowledge. So this is one way of seeing how telling a story can actually not just make an impact, but the story itself doesn't need to center around the beneficiaries or the service users of an organization.